Hi, friends, and welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. If you're new, then hello. My name is Sarah, and I tend to talk about things to do with spirituality, self development, and really anything else that piques my interest. It is a bit of a mixed bag here, but today we're going to be talking about astrology. I am really excited to start diving into this topic. If you are watching the video instead of just listening, then you'll notice I have a very different background today. I thought, in honour of the topic, I would show off my zodiac bedspread, which I love, I'm obsessed with. And I also have a little iced latte in my Leo cup. So, yeah, paying homage to the theme of astrology today. So, this is probably going to be the start of a little series on my channel. And it's going to be a little guide for baby astrologers just like myself. And basically, my aim for this series is to make astrology as easy to understand and as accessible as possible because it can seem a bit overwhelming. I would say most people probably know their star sign, but beyond that, we're a little bit confused about anything else to do with astrology. It can seem very woo woo, it can seem very out there, or it can just seem a little bit overwhelming because it seems like there's a lot to take in. So, if you've been interested in astrology for a long time, like me, and you're finally ready to dive a little bit deeper in, then this is definitely for you. So, on today's episode, we are going to be talking about your sun, moon, and rising sign. I'm going to be telling you how to figure those out and why they're so important. The main reference I'm using for this video is a book called Astrology Made Easy by Yasmin Boland. I highly recommend it. I will leave a link for it below. But yeah, basically, that is what I used as my guide to decode my birth chart and to dive a bit deeper into astrology. So, a little bit about my background with astrology. Since I was really, really young, I've always had what I would consider a passing interest in astrology. I always read my horoscopes in the magazines. I found it really fun to look up like my friends' star signs, and if I had like a boyfriend, I would look up our compatibility and his star sign and things like that. And I just saw it as a little bit of fun. I say that, although I did get a tattoo of my star sign when I was like 17, 18, so maybe it was more than a bit of fun. I have my star sign, or I should say my sun sign, Leo, tattooed on me here. Hopefully you can see that. And I think the reason I got that done is because I do really identify with being a Leo. I do see myself as very much a strong-willed Leo. I do love the finer things in life. I do love being the center of attention. I mean, I'm an actor and I'm on YouTube right now. I'm sitting in front of a camera, talking to it, hoping that people watch. Like, I'm a Leo. But yeah, beyond knowing what my star sign or sun sign was, I didn't really know much else about astrology. So it's only been over the last year, or even to be honest, the last 6 months, that I've really decided that I want to do a little bit of a deeper dive into this subject. It's something that really fascinates me. I love any topic that helps me understand myself better and that also helps me understand other people and dynamics and situations better. So I feel like astrology can be a really, really good tool for understanding yourself, seeing what areas you need to work on, seeing where your natural strengths and talents lie. I probably should clarify everything I'm talking about in this video and probably the whole series is going to be about natal astrology, which is to do with your birth chart. I'm not really going to get into predictive astrology because I still don't really understand that, to be perfectly honest. And that's not really my aim for using astrology. My aim for using astrology is understanding myself, it's self development, and it's also having a bit of fun as well. So, all that being said, I went on holiday a couple of weeks ago and I decided this is the perfect chance to deep dive into the subject. I downloaded Astrology Made Easy by Yasmin Boland onto my Kindle and I got to work. So let's talk about your sun, moon, and your rising sign. So to first understand what I even mean by sun, moon, and rising, we have to take it to your birth chart. So your birth chart is basically where all of the planets are at the exact time and place that you were born. So to discover your birth chart and to discover your sun, moon, and rising, you only need to know three things. You need to know the time, date, and location of your birth. And using those three things, you can generate your birth chart. You can do this on apps for free. I used Time Passages originally, but then when I started reading Yasmin Boland's book, she actually referred you to her website. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I'll have it linked below. But basically, if you put the details into her website, it generates a free chart for you. So you can find this totally free online, just using your date, time, and location of your birth. So if you know those three things, then you'll be able to generate your birth chart, and that will tell you your sun, moon, and rising. So your sun sign is where the sun falls on your chart, and my sun is in Leo, making me a Leo. Now, your sun sign is important because your sun sign is essentially who you are. It is your essence. It is who you are at your core. So, using me for example, I am a Leo, and Leo is a fire sign, and Leos are typically a little bit dramatic. We tend to like the finer things in life. We are pretty outgoing, a lot of Leos can be found in the creative industries, particularly acting industry and things like that. We're good with being the center of attention. We like the spotlight. So I always identified as being a Leo. And there's other good things about Leos that I think often get sort of glossed over because we're always just regarded as being this really dramatic and loud sign. But Leos are also very loyal, they're also really ambitious, and they're just like a bright, fun energy. So they do have a lot of good qualities as well. We're not always super loud and annoying and over dramatic. So yeah, that is my sun sign. But there is one caveat to finding your sun sign that I do want to address and that I didn't realize because I've always identified with being a strong Leo. But some people that I know in my personal life as well, for example, they are also a Leo, but they've never really identified with being a Leo. Like they just don't feel like those personality traits and those characteristics really resonate with them. So, what I found really interesting in Yasmin Boland's book, she says that even though your sun sign is in a sign, so for example, your sun sign's in Leo, you might have like 4 planets in a different sign. So maybe you have 4 planets in Virgo, and therefore you might actually resonate with Virgo more than your sun sign. So basically, your sun sign is an indicator of who you are, but if you have more planets in another sign, it could mean that you resonate a bit more with the traits of that sign. So that's just something to remember if you find your sun sign and you look up what that means and you feel like you don't quite resonate with it. It might be worth having a look at your chart and see where a lot of your other planets are, and you might resonate a bit more with those signs. Now, your moon sign is about your feelings, it's about how you feel and what you need. So, my moon sign, for example, is in Libra. Now, Libra is an air sign. Libra's symbol is the scale. They like balance and harmony. And I thought that was really, really interesting when I discovered Libra is my moon sign because I think that is so accurate for me. And that's the thing about astrology. You always have to look at how it resonates with you. And some things will and some things won't. Some things will make sense straight away. Some things might take a little bit longer and some things you can just disregard. But for me, when I found out Libra was my moon sign, I thought that was so interesting because my middle sister is a Libra, that's her sun sign. And she is very passive. She's non-confrontational. She does not like arguments. She will like run away from an argument. Like it's just the last thing that she wants to have. She likes keeping everyone happy. She likes balance. Um, so when I realized that was my moon sign, I was like, that makes so much sense because as much as I am a fiery person, I'm outgoing and I don't tend to shy away from arguments. I can actually be quite confrontational. In my emotional life, I need balance. Like I need to feel on an even keel at all times. I don't like turbulence. I don't like feeling super emotional. I don't like feeling unsettled in my emotional life. And also Libras tend to like being in like really stable relationships. And that is definitely true for me. I've been with my fiance for 7 years now. And I do feel like that is always something I've needed. And I've tried to run away from that in the past and pretend that, I was fine on my own and like I didn't need a relationship. It's not that I need a relationship. I am just happier in a relationship because I kind of feel like I need a bit of that grounding aspect that a relationship brings and a bit of an anchor to sort of bring me back to where I need to be. I find that helpful. So finding out that Libra was my moon sign definitely made a lot of things fall into place for me. So now let's talk about your rising sign. So your rising sign on your chart is where it will say ascendant or ASC. This is my chart. I have scribbled all over it, but basically down here it says ASC and that means ascendant or rising. So whatever star sign your ascendant is in, that's your rising sign. So my rising sign is in Scorpio. Now, this is really interesting because your rising sign is how other people perceive you. So my star sign is Leo, and I think, yep, I'm a happy-go-lucky, outgoing, confident Leo. But actually, my rising sign is Scorpio, and Scorpios are pretty different. Scorpio is a water sign, and Scorpios, I feel sorry for Scorpios, okay, because I think you guys get a little bit of a bad rep. And I have very close friends that are Scorpios, and I think they're amazing. So I'm going to stand up for the Scorpios here, but Scorpios tend to have a little bit of a darker, more mysterious vibe and energy. They can be a bit ruthless. They can seem even a little bit cold at times, but they're very ambitious, they're very determined, they're very driven, and they're very brave. So there's a lot of really amazing qualities of Scorpio, but that's why it's so interesting to find out your rising sign because to know that that's perhaps how I'm perceived to people that don't know me or to the outside world is really, really helpful for me because sometimes I've had people, say things to me like, "Oh, God, you're so this and you're so that, like you're so determined and you're so ambitious." And I don't always feel like that, but again, it's about perceptions. That's what obviously I'm putting out to the outside world. Your rising sign is very important to identify because it will really help you navigate your relationships and navigate how to interact with people, especially when they first meet you, because that can really tell you what energy you give off, and you can decide how to adjust that or maybe embrace that. Maybe you're like, do you know what? I am fine coming across as a Scorpio. That's probably quite a good thing, to be honest. Like, Scorpios are all about boundaries and sticking up for themselves, and maybe that's a good thing to come across like that. So, just to quickly recap your sun, moon, and rising. Your sun sign is who you truly are at your core. Your moon sign is what you need and how you feel. And your rising sign is how others perceive you. You can find out those three things if you know the date, time, and location of your birth. And you can use, as I said, apps like Time Passages. I mean, there's probably so many websites that you can do this on, honestly. A quick Google on how to find it out, you can find it out. Once you've identified what sign your sun, moon, and rising is in, I would recommend looking up the traits of those signs and seeing how they correlate with you. So that kind of felt like a lot, and I'm sorry if that was just like a lot of information being thrown at you. I do genuinely find this so interesting, and I hope that it's helpful. I think your sun, moon, and rising are so important to know. They're often referred to as your big three because when you know them and when you know other people's big three, it gives you a really good idea of who that person is. Even if you don't want to go any further, I honestly think everyone should know what their sun, moon, and rising is. So I hope you have fun finding out what yours are. Please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to know what your big three are. And if you would like a part two to this series, then again, please comment it below, or you can find me on a variety of places on social media. I am on Instagram as at Sarah C. Meikle, and I'm also on TikTok where I've started doing little short and condensed versions of this kind of content. You can find me on TikTok at Sarah C. Meikle as well. You can follow me on there. And yeah, I'm really enjoying diving into astrology, so I hope you're here for it, and I will see you next time. Bye!